What's going on, guys? We're back again this week, Wednesday, May 7th. Our weekly golf show here on at Wolf Sports with Green Means Go. I'm Zach. What's going on, Green? How you doing today?
Not too bad. Another weird week. I don't know. I'm excited for something new, a new course this week, a decent field, but as far as the quality of this show, I'm not going to make any promises just because the data is not out there for this Philadelphia Country Club that we're playing at. So next week will be a banger. I mean,
Well,
next week will be the show. So,
let's be
but other,
honest. We
yeah,
we never make any guarantees on the quality of this show.
well, sure,
That's
but I
that's
How about this? I'm typically a little more optimistic, in what I
sure,
can provide.
sure. Yeah,
Which last week,
right, right.
Scotty. I mean, do we wanna just we don't wanna bury the lead here. Scotty
Well,
gets it done, um, at
that
at a number you didn't like.
well, that's what I was just gonna say. I mean, look, to be fair, we talk about it every week that he's in the field, and it's like the weekly debate, the age old debate of, hey, is this worth it or not? And lo and behold, Scotty showed us why he does get priced the way that he does, because when he's got it all clicking, that's what happens, and it was just an ultimate wire to wire domination, no doubter.
Do you think if
Um,
if a guy shoots 31 under, they need to scrap the course from the tour? I'm of the belief that if we're seeing 30s, if we're seeing 30 under, we gotta do something. We gotta play somewhere else. That's nuts.
but is that a Scotty thing, or it's
I did say it was gonna play easy. I mean, it had been mid-20s, for the past 3 years, but you're right, it was probably a Scott. I mean, he won by what, 7? So, I guess it was a more of a Scotty thing, but, I mean, you don't see 30 under,
yeah.
ever. So, that was something to behold. And also, I mean, we gave that out as eh, a so-so play. I'm always gonna be on it. I was kinda chasing Scotty outright. But the Eric Cole play that we endorsed, the top 20, he got fifth. So that was a good call out by us. The model didn't do exceptionally well. Like I said, it was kind of a weird field, but the Eric Cole, who cracked, I believe, the top five of the model, ended up performing in the top five. So I know you said you had a top 20 on that. That was your only
Yeah.
official bet.
Yeah, yeah, that was ended up being the only thing that I fired in was the Eric Cole top 20, which, yeah, another one that, looked good from. You like to see a hot start on, day 1, which he had, and then, kinda maintain play. I thought the funny part about Scotty was that you look at what he did on Sunday is generally that's the type of performance that would cause you to lose a lead on Sunday, but he was just so far out in front and just so ridiculously ahead that it was like, it didn't really matter. Didn't really even add much intrigue or drama. But,
Yeah.
to be fair, it's I know I'm not like a big ratings guy, and I know that talking about ratings is even worse than um maybe some of the ratings themselves. But um with that being said, I was reading something where the ratings were still, like, very good on Sunday despite that, like, crazy lead that he had, and, I attribute some of that to, yeah, the that was kind of the impact that Tiger had at times, where even when Tiger would have these, like, crazy dominant wins, people would just tune in just to watch the greatness
Right.
and the sheer domination, but, as I juxtapose that with the live golf and how that is just completely failing and falling flat, and you just have to hope and wonder how close we are to potentially some
Coming
sort
back.
of
Yep.
union. Yeah, like, I mean, what are we doing? Can
Yep.
we put it to bed? Like, are they just gonna keep hemorrhaging? Granted, they do have endless amounts of money, but you know, enough is enough, right?
Right. Yep. I agree. I don't even pay attention. I think I
Yeah,
saw that Bryson won, but outside of that, I don't if it's not popping up on a feed, I'm not seeking it out. So I'm done with it, or I've been done with it. Never got started with it rather.
Right. Yeah, I almost don't even really know where to find it if I wanted to watch it, but yeah.
Right.
Anyway, enough on that. I guess we can move forward into this Truist Championship. Playing at a new course, one that we haven't quite seen on tour before. I believe this is still a what they would consider a signature event, is it? Or no?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
technically a signature event, um, right before the PGA Championship next week. Um, it's so here's really what it comes down to is this was supposed to be the Wells Fargo at Quail Hollow, but Quail Hollow is going to be the course for the PGA Championship next week, and so instead
yeah,
of doing it, so we got a rebrand and a new course. It is a strong field though. I mean, sometimes we talk about golfers taking off the week before a major event, but I think because this is a signature event and a lot of them took off last week. I mean, last week we saw Scotty and then a bunch of scrubs. This week we're seeing a bunch of top heavy, but no Scotty because he's taking the week off. But you still have your Rorys, your Xanders, your Lowrys, your Connors, your Ludwigs, your Cantlays. So I think it'll be good. I think it'll be exciting. If you want to look at this course, I kind of want to
yeah,
run through some of these holes just because we've never seen them. It is a very unique course. But like I maybe mentioned at the front, the show today is going to be a little different because the model can't model when it doesn't have information. So we're just going to have to attack this organically and tread lightly, maybe as we prepare for next week. So yes, man of the henchman, Scotty win was imminent value is value, and it's a lock. You're right. I mean, you take any number when it's guaranteed, right? Man of the henchman. Playing in Dallas, the writing was on the wall. You were right. I did look after the first round with 3 rounds to play, he was minus 1,200. He was over a 90% chance implied odds to win the tournament after 1 round. So,
yeah. We
uh,
gave you might have comment a little bit later, but yeah, we did go through. We gave him his flowers, Hench, and said, "Hey, this is why he showed us why he does get priced the way that he does, right? With that performance this past weekend." So, I think having him out of the field this week is, I don't know, dare I say, a good thing. I don't know if maybe
yeah.
it's some of that has to do with last year. If you recall, this week he kind of was grinding it out, right? And I think he's taking a week off because of that. I hesitate to even call it a dud that he had at the PGA Championship last year. But yeah, anyway, will say Ancient Quail. Not gonna lie, it's something that we have. We talked about. We've discussed it. So I don't know. Maybe what do we need to do? Do we need to get the Ray Bans with the
The camera.
camera? Yeah, I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see. But yeah, Bryson. I like Bryson on live. Definitely not failing. Yeah, well, I guess failing. Where I go with that is that it's just not. I guess from a viewership perspective, a ratings perspective, I mean, look, like by all means, they have exceptional golfers over there. I mean, the case could be made. Uh, Potentially, they have a better overall field than the PGA does. I'm not saying that is the case, but like the case could be made between Rom, Bryson, right? Like there's
And that's
some
what I wanna see.
Brooks.
I wanna see if that holds water, because I don't know if it's like you have a lot of names that we're familiar with because they've been relevant for so long. I want to see them play consistently with the PGA guys to see, like, is a
Yeah,
Ludwig better than, a John Rahm? Like, how do those 2 now compare? When
yeah,
Ludwig's a young budding star and John Rahm is just a household name, is John Rahm like, how does the competition merge? So yeah, I don't know. I would love to have them all come back together and see like, Phil, I believe before the Masters says Joaquin Neiman is playing the best golf he's ever seen. And then Neiman, what? I don't know what he finished at the Masters. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't the best golf. So I do want to see. I wish there was some more crossing over, or they have a 1 year hiatus from live and they all play together and they see what happens again. Because I think it will. I, I think it could boost the ratings yeah, we need a union, we need to come together moment, we need something. I man of the henchman, you lost me here. I'm not a live guy. I'm not going to support live, but I do support getting the gang back together.
Yeah, and I'm not even like the main reason I'm anti-live is just because it has split up the field. It has kind of, dare I say, like watered down the field a little bit as far as I want to see all the best player. Like I would be against, politics or geopolitics aside, whatever. I would be against if there was a new NBA that came along and it's like, hey, we're going to start make our own basketball league over here and take some guys, and it's like, oh, well, now there's worse players, and now the
Right.
product's bad. I want all the best players playing in the same league, so that's why I'm anti-live. On top of the fact that it's not like particularly easy to find. No, I don't want them all together at a live event because I want to see a standard 4-day tournament, not this 3-day nonsense. Not I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep.
Maybe we need to go to the live event here. We could live stream that, the one that's coming, here for Indy, and we can see what's going on with that, but I don't know. Anyway, we'll get into this course. We,
Yeah.
digress a little bit.
Yeah. So if we want to pop this up, we don't have to run through. I'm sharing it, right? We're good.
Yeah, here, let me yeah, here
It's.
we go.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's nice. Okay. So again, a little bit of an unknown course here. I will just give you a quick little, tip or hint that this far yellow circle is going to be 300 yards, 250 here, 200 here. And what you're going to notice heavily on these holes is sand. Bunkers, I believe, number in the 118 total, which is the most you'll see on tour. And you're going to see a lot of them on nearly every hole about where the ball is going to land, which is typically traditional. So hole one doesn't look too drastic if you're carrying 300, which a lot of guys sadly can do these days. That bunker's not going to be in play. If we want to zoom in, this is a pretty cool website if you really want to get into some of the details. Uh, you know, if you want to measure, that's a 25-yard, fairly narrow, but if they can clear 300, now we're talking about a 40-yard wide fairway, which is pretty significant. I mean, I don't know what tour average is, but I want to say low 30s is probably where you start to get into some danger. So I would say these are pretty average, maybe slightly above average. We'll go to the next hole because there's a couple that are pretty wild. This is one that looks pretty easy. No bunkers. You're going to drive at 300. You're going to lay up. You're going to go for the green. That is surrounded slightly by some sand, but I mean, how wide is this green? It's not something that's going to be difficult to miss. I mean,
I
depending
like
on
seeing
where.
the cart path in the
Yeah,
middle of the, fairway there, right? The split
right.
fairway with the cart path.
Y- Yep. Um,
Not often
y-
you see that on tour.
right. So again, 26, probably about average, but depending on where they put the pin, some guys will get more aggressive and they could get into some issues. Par three, I mean, you miss right, you're going to see some pins down here probably. 5 bunkers just on this par three. Move along because there's one. I mean, look, hole four. This is a pretty challenging long par four. I mean, you got bunkers all on the left. These are all in play, even if you're a 300 carry. I mean, all of those are significantly in play. And then you come up here to the green, and you got more if you miss right this time, more surrounding the green. So that's kind of the feeling of all of these. Another par three, go long, bunkers surrounding every side. Like I said, most bunkers of any tour course strategically placed around where these guys are going to likely land their drives. And then if they miss the greens, where they're going to be. So while I did say there was no data for this, if I was building, I mean, before I talk about building a golfer profile, this is 7. And this is one that if you watch any of the coverage, you're going to hear conversations about. two right here. But guys who want to fly it, what I don't know what the tour average of driving is. I mean, they're hitting at 350, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they're they're going to be messing around with these bunkers that are just sitting in the middle of the fairway. So you're going to see a lot of layups here to avoid this mess. And then again, this is a par five, so probably another layup, or they'll go for the green. But the green is again, I mean, this is one of the smaller greens, and it's a par five. It looks like you have more surface area of sand around the green than green itself. I mean, 23 yards wide, 30 yards deep, and that's if the pin is dead center. The pin's not going to be dead center. So yeah, it's hard for me to say, is this gonna be challenging? Is it not? Because I do think the pros of this course, or the ease of this course, is the fairways are wide. I don't know if the rough is too penal. I don't know how long the grass is. I think the greens are reachable. It's not long. It's a par 70. It's not a long course. But some cons, obviously, if you're missing the green, if you're loose with your approach shots, you're gonna find sand. And then you can't tell on this, but if you look at if you watch it, you will see this significantly. Is the contour of these greens are nuts. I mean, it is undulating as undulating gets. They're going to be fast. They're going to be firm. So putters who can avoid three putts. Like, I'm not even going to say hit 10 footers or get up and down. Like, just being able to get on and two putt and get on with your day is going to be significant here because of how sloped. And they're going to be able to put some of these greens, or some of these pins in some crazy spots on these greens. So you're going to see some wicked putts this week. So if I was building a profile, I would say you want guys who are fairly accurate off the tee, who are going to set themselves up for a good approach shot, because I think approach shots are going to be huge this week. So definitely somebody who's good at approach. I don't think distance really is going to be too much of an importance here. I think putting and avoiding three putts, just consistent putting is going to be important. Scrambling, obviously, when you get a course that, I mean, like, what in the world is this hole right here? I mean, just bunkers everywhere, protected by one up at the front. Scrambling is going to be of importance. I mean, this is a par four, 377, right? So distance doesn't matter. You're going to get guys who are going to try to go for this. You're going to get guys who just try to lay up and land it in this sand area, get up and down for birdie, if not trying to do something funny and drive the green. So, uh, you know, I think scores are going to be pretty low. This should be pretty easy. It's a par three. It's 174. Looks like a pretty big, I mean, that is a pretty big green. So I don't think the sand will matter too much there. I think scores are going to be low. I think you don't need a bomber this week. Bomb and go find it is not the strategy. I think it's just stays straight and approaches the green and can hit putts on undulating. I mean, look at this. This is hole 14. And this is another pretty short par four, 430. But if you're short on your approach, which again they shouldn't be, they should drive it within 100 yards, but you'll see a pin up here. To tempt guys. The other thing I'll say before I shut up and let you get a word in and comment on what you're seeing is it could be rainy and it could be windy. I'm seeing a lot of weather reports that aren't optimistic for a good weekend, and a lot of wind. So if we talk about the importance of approach, and then you're going to mix in wind, it increases, kind of the value of that approach. So that's the course. Again, not a ton of raw data. Par three scoring, I think, would also be important, just because I'm seeing a lot of par threes and short par fours. So, but yeah, not a lot of raw data
That 14th
available.
hole looks like it would put somebody in absolute hell, if like a mid-high handicapper who, maybe not the best out of the sand. Like that
Right.
approach
Yeah.
shot, like you're just in hell up there. I could see somebody just melting down, going bunker to bunker. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't know. We won't see I can't imagine we'll see too many guys struggling with that. this weekend. But it's just what I think. Like, man, if you're tough out of the sand, that'd be tough little, pretty daunting there to look at
Yeah,
with that approach shot. But
right. And then you go to the next hole and it's the same thing. So it's like the guys who may not have a
I
lot of
think there's
confidence in
some long par threes here too, like some
yeah,
northeastern, just like typical. Yeah, here we go.
this one's a 244. I mean, you got a 170 and then you got a
Yeah,
244. Oh, I accidentally zoomed with the scroll wheel and it's not the way to do it. Yeah, I mean, this is a significant par 3, 244, shielded where you wanna come in, by this very large bunker. I mean, 244, what is that for these guys? Of just 6 iron for Rory? I mean, just it's
pitching wedge if Bryson was playing.
yeah, yeah, but the pitching ledge would be the same length as his 5 iron. I mean, all the same lengths, all the same grips. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
all, all
So
the same bend.
listen, here's what I'm gonna say, okay? I know I mentioned this in one of the first episodes that we did of this. My friend bought the Bryson grip, the thick grip for the driver. Bryson says everybody should be playing with a thick driver grip, and he bought it. And I was just kind of like, oh, you were a sucker to the marketing. You fell for it. When I say that this man has the most consistent drives that I've ever seen out of him, used to be a slicer supreme, and now he's got a nice fade that he starts on the left side of the fairway. And I mean, he's the best driver of the friend group, and he switched to the Bryson big grip. So maybe there's something to it. Maybe I've been giving Bryson too much flack. Maybe he's onto something with the extra large grips. So I've seen it firsthand, but I'm not ready to make the change.
I feel like it kind of depends on hand size too.
Could be,
I don't know.
could be. Okay, so thoughts? Anything that stands out?
No, but I guess just kind of a couple key differences that do kind of distinguish this a bit is that yeah, a little bit of a smaller field. I believe this is a no cut event, so um,
72 golfers, I believe. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and I don't think there's going to be a cut. So and with the smaller field, we if we run into weather, I don't know that we'll see like where it kind of messes up the days, days getting shortened because yeah, like you said, there probably will be it might get a little hairy weather-wise, as just kind of tends to be the case up in the Northeast like this time of year. It's not quite out not quite out of the woods yet.
Right.
Um so yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of how that impacts. I think at the same time, there's some guys that I'll be looking at to maybe get a good read on, as we kind of are trending a lot more attention towards next week. Much bigger, obviously a much, much bigger event. But, one thing I think about as you were kind of mentioning the issues around the greens. And uh, I feel that in a course like this that's kind of getting its time to shine, they might you do what they can to make it like a little more challenging, kind of showcase, maybe things like that. Like make it a little bit tougher than maybe it should be around the greens
Yeah.
probably. Um so if you're one of the sickos that like to root for the course, which this might this might be
Well,
a
I
good
mean, yeah, I don't wanna watch a guy go 31 under and win, but I also
right.
don't wanna watch, a -6 win. I like a 14 to 25, I think is where it's like, I wanna see birdies, I wanna see eagles, I wanna see scoring, but I don't wanna watch a guy birdie half the holes every round.
Right.
Uh,
Um
so I'm gonna throw in some things for a model again. Yeah, I'm hesitant to really put a lot of stock. Um, I'm gonna do some weighting on green and regulation, driving accuracy, sand saves, scrambling, putting on fast greens. Anything else that we talked about? Maybe strokes gained, tee to green wouldn't be too bad of a thing to include. Maybe strokes gained around the green if we think about how dangerous it could be. Um,
I
Okay.
just feel like this is gonna be a pretty level playing field considering, nobody really has experience here. We're gonna maybe have a little bit of weather impact. Uh, at the end of the day, like, this isn't gonna be a course that I don't think is gonna eat anybody alive.
Yeah.
Um, but I also think they're gonna do what they can to make sure that it's not like guys shooting, like you said, 30 under. They don't wanna see that either.
Right.
So,
So
I
I'll
don't
tell you
know.
this.
I would
On the
trend more towards bigger guy like, I'm gonna have my guy Xander in the mix. I would be a little hesitant to somebody like Spieth, who, like, look, he's been playing great, but I think the putting conditions were very favorable for him last
yeah,
week.
yeah.
And as you alluded to, maybe not the most favorable putting conditions this weekend. So, like, he's
Mhm.
somebody I'd
I'll tell
be
you this,
cautious.
on the first on just a random build based on golfer profile, putting emphasis on being accurate, hitting greens, making putts, which I think is the what you're gonna see win, Spieth is 41st.
Eh,
So,
there you go.
he
Yeah.
does not model well. You said Xander, he's 7th,
Mhm.
that's in the cards.
Maybe
Um,
Hovland, I'd stay away from Hovland probably.
yeah, let's see where Hovland I mean, he's not top 10, I'll tell you that. Uh Hovland is 50th, so even worse than
Yeah.
Spieth in the model. The model looks pretty normal outside of number 1. I'll tell you, Morikawa's 2, Fleetwood's 3, Shane Lowry is 4. I actually think that Shane Lowry is is building to something. I think he's just played very solid golf, and it's gonna happen. And I don't know his number, but if you give me a 25 to 1, this is a guy who can putt very well. This is a guy who is pretty accurate. We saw him at the weird event, the Zurich, with Rory, and we don't put much stock in that. But Shane Lowry has my attention. I'll just say that the price is right there. Russell Henley is
Yeah.
5th, and then
Yeah.
Rory is 6th, Sanders 7th. Then you get into some interesting names: Ben Griffin, Robert McIntyre, who we talked about quite a bit during Masters Week, I think. Maverick McNeely, Hideki's 11th, but number 1, um, and here's your DFS guy. If you wanna
Let me
go
have a
based on
guess.
1. Okay,
Let
go
me
ahead.
have a guess.
Sure,
Because
sure,
I
sure.
somebody who I feel like would potentially rate high here would be Daniel Berger.
Okay, I actually was curious about Berger. He's 15th, so he's
Okay.
respectable. He's fairly long off the tee, which again, I don't know how much that matters here. I'm not gonna I kinda think it doesn't. Um, but he's 15th. I mean, he's respectable. I don't think you would name this guy. If we sat here the rest of the day, I don't know if you would name this guy. He's $6,200. He is cheap.
Oh,
But
man.
his strokes gained around the green, 6th on tour. Strokes gained tee to green, 16th. Par threes, 8th. Driving accuracy, 22nd. Green and regulation, 4th. Sand save, 7th. Scrambling, 2nd. He's just got a very, very, very good short game, and he's accurate. And he's Alex Noren. Alex Noren is the number 1 golfer
What in
modeled
the world? He
after
doesn't
this.
even what was the last event he played? Like,
Let's look. Let us look. Again, I'm not saying do it. I'm not saying put your hard-earned money on it. But he's been on the European tour, so he's
yeah.
played.
Yeah.
He ju- oh wait, he hasn't.
He was
He
in the
hasn't.
Olympics,
He
right?
has
Like,
not
he was
played.
for
This is his
Sweden.
first event. This is his first event of 2025.
Yeah, I was like, that's just not a name that man, I wonder, hmm,
What's the top
interesting.
20? I'm looking. Why
The
not?
I already have the top 20 up, yeah, yeah.
I mean, is he
Jesus,
4 to
Max,
1?
he's, no, plus 250.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't
He's
know.
in the Max Homa range. And Eric Cole, once again, plus 230. When are they gonna give, my man Eric Cole some respect?
What's Alex Noren first round leader?
Oh, man. You just come off the couch right into a first round winner?
70 to 1. You know
Jesus.
me. You know me. I'm trying to hit something I can victory lap on X. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, starting
70 to 1. He's 120 to 1 to win outright. He's in the Eric Cole range. Eric Cole, 121 as well.
Mhm.
The downfall of Ricky is something that makes me a little sad. Ricky is longer odds to win, 150 to 1. But he's a guy I think can break at any time. What's Ricky's? Ricky's 56th. So I mean he's maybe we run another one. Let's run another one. And do some different weights. Anybody in the chat you want to see, you can give me what to plug into the model. Based if you've been paying attention, if you've been watching, shoot some things that caught your attention, if there was anything, and say, this sounded like something that was a big deal. Also, Steph Curry just got ruled out for
Yeah, saw that coming.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Did they win last night?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the Wolves shot, like, 5% on three-point. I think they were at one point, they were 2 for 21 or something on three-pointers, so,
Yeah.
they just weren't hitting anything. I mean, I don't think either team even broke 100.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's do this. Strokes gained, par 3. We know par 3s matter. We're gonna go 15 there. Course types. Let's go short courses for 10. A little bit of a double weight with the par 3. Approach, play. Let's go strokes gained, approach for 15. And then strokes gained around the green for 15. Got 45 left. Let's go driving accuracy, fairways gained. Maybe we go fairways gained. If there's a lot of trouble around the greens, you want to be on the fairway.
I tell you what, you're making me want to use Norin here in this DFS lineup because this, like, kinda first run, just cobbling together. We got Xander, Lowry, Henley, Daniel Berger, Harris English, and Alex Noren.
I'm not even mad about that. I'm not mad about that at all. Okay. On the second run. Oh, okay. Oh, you're going to like this. Okay. On the second run, Henley's number 1, Noren's number 2, Morikawa's 3. Top 10, Tony is number 4. Hideki 5. And then one of my personal favorites, Brian Harmon at 6th.
Mm.
Xander at 7th, Corey Connors at 8th, and then Daniel Berger at 9. JT Poston at 10. Eric Cole pops up at 11. Shane Lowry at 12. Fleetwood at 13. Denny. Okay, Denny's a great putter. Denny McCarthy is a great putter. Maybe there's something there. This would have been interesting because I think whenever I run these models for these, it's always Rory and Scotty, Rory, Scotty, Rory, Scotty, Rory, Scotty, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, we haven't mentioned Rory much. This is his first solo event,
Yeah, since the
back
Masters.
since the Masters, yeah.
And I would not back Rory at all. I know he's playing very well, but his length is insignificant here, I want to say. And
I here's a guy I was gonna ask about because and I'll just go ahead and we can put this on the board. I'm gonna have Daniel Berger probably top 20 on my dance card plus 110. So that's one I'm gonna be involved in. So Andrew Novak, like what do we make of this guy? Like this guy has gone back to back top 5. Um
yeah. Yeah.
like what do you make of him as a whole? And then I guess as it pertains to this course this weekend.
There are certain things where data is great, analytics are great, but there's something to be said about a guy who just has it. And
So you think
I
he's
don't
just on a heater right now?
if somebody said they're betting Andrew Novak outright, I'd say good. Like awesome, like why not? You're right. third at the Valero, second at the RBC, wins the Zurich. Um,
Yeah, yeah, like, just
you know, he he's been incredibly consistent since the beginning of April.
yeah,
You know,
lights out.
um, so you look pre-April, you look in March, and it's not flattering. It's 50% missed cuts, 50% hanging out in the 30s and the 40s. He's figured something out with his putter because he'd been losing a lot of strokes putting prior, but now he's gaining 2 and 3 per. Yeah. So what's his number? I mean, is the market adjusting for his recency, or is he still
No.
pretty long?
No. I mean, I'm looking at a
60
top
to 1?
20. Yeah. Where did I see him at top 20? It wasn't, and like he's very cheap in DFS. Okay, top 20 plus 140. But I want to say when I was messing around with DFS stuff, I was shocked at how cheap he still
Yeah, he's under
is.
8,000. He's 78.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's trending in the right direction. He's always been good off the tee this year, but yeah, his approach play. Okay, so here's what I'll say: his approach play and his putting have been when he misses the cut, that's what suffers. So that's what's important here: approach play and putting. So yeah, I mean, if you think this course is easy, quote unquote, and it's hard to know because we don't have any data on historic performance of this course. If you think it's easy and he's not going to struggle, then I think he's a fine play. But if you think that it's going to present challenges, then maybe not. I think a DFS is fine. 7,800.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So just looking through, and I do have to go about 10 minutes. But I don't think we have a ton more to discuss. I'm an outright guy, and that's why Zach and I are a good pair for this show because he is a top 20. He is a DFS guy. I like an outright. When I look through just something, I mean, I'm shocked. Spieth is 25 to 1. Spieth is it in the top 8 of prices? No. Come on. No. That's ridiculous. You're paying for a name there. That should not
Yeah.
be the
Right.
case. So
You're
looking
paying
through
for
it,
the name, and like people are like, oh, well, he played
he did
great
well
last
last week.
weekend. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
but that's why I said it's like that's a guy that I'd be, if
Yeah.
if you don't want to fade him, I would potentially just stay away altogether.
Yeah. And I will whittle this down probably, and I'll quote tweet this video, and I'll tweet out some my official plays. Again, when you're betting these long outrights, these are spots I put free bets. These are spots I put a few bucks to give myself an interest. This is not something that I'm really having a quantifiable edge on and unloading bankroll. But Russell Henley, Shane Lowry, both at 35 to 1, I think are good prices for this course. I would love Hideki, but his recency or recent performances have been poor. So I just don't know if I can fully endorse Hideki at 35 to 1. Phew, I mean, Berger at 40 to 1 isn't too bad, but something tells me I'm going to stay off of that. Um, Man, maybe a Harmon at 75 to 1. How many is Harmon going to win, right? Zach, you're quoted as saying that. Harmon
Yeah.
can't win more
Yeah.
than one.
Yeah.
Um, which is understandable. Zalatoris is interesting. A decent
Oh
putter
man.
and a decent approach player, 90 to 1.
And
I
plus 190 for a top 20.
I would, yeah.
I'm
I mean,
still hurt by his performance at Augusta. Still kind of hurt by that
this
one.
feels like an event Will Zalatoris wins. Just kind of a throw in before a big event.
Yeah, and then everybody gets all hyped up on him for the
Yeah.
championship.
Oh, 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 oh.
I don't know. It's
Buddy doesn't have
he's
a top 10. Buddy doesn't have a top
yeah.
20 hardly. He's got one top 20, and it was in January. Okay. We're gonna throw out Will Zalatoris. Even at 90 to 1, not interested. Make fairway bunkers normalized again. Amen. Uh yeah, I mean, I would maybe throw something on Alex Noren 120 to 1. Why not? If the model says something's up, maybe we get a sweat for I
I
mean, the
feel like
dollar one
throwing him in yeah, I feel like throwing him into the DFS card just because, like, I don't know, why
yeah,
not? Yeah,
yeah,
like, he hasn't played since the Olympics, right?
yeah.
But, I mean,
So
it's not like he
if I'm
hasn't
going
been playing golf.
right. Yeah, I sure. We'll get a good price
I
there.
wonder
Okay,
how
if
did
I'm
he
going to top
qualify
5,
for this? How did he qualify for this event?
no idea. No idea. If I'm going top 5, I think I'm going Henley, Hideki, he may get subbed out. Shane Lowry, Brian Harmon, Alex Noren. That's where I'm at. I feel like this is an event where, yeah, you're gonna just see some names that have been
Okay. So I
stalking
just
in the
got some
water.
info here on Alex Noren. What's been going on? I guess in January he suffered a hamstring slash glute tear. Because he actually could have been in the Masters field and had to sit out the Masters because of that. So
Okay.
the injury has sidelined him through the early part of 2025, and while he has publicly stated he hopes to return soon, there's still no definitive tournament circled for his comeback. That was actually exactly a month ago, April 7th. So um,
Okay.
he's back in the mix now. I guess this is his return from his hamstring slash glute tear, which
Okay. So,
sounds incredibly
yeah,
painful.
yeah, proceed with caution, I guess, is the best way to do this. Um, Justin Rose, Justin Rose. He's been relevant this year. He's got 4 top 10s, couple of cuts. I don't know, something to keep your eye on. Has putted pretty well this year. Yeah, maybe Justin Rose. He's pretty cheap, 7,600 also on DFS. Might not be a bad dart throw. Well, that's what I've got. I didn't think I was excited for this week, but I think, getting in here
Well,
and
it's a big field.
making yeah,
There's a lot of big heavy hitters in this field. That's where I think is what's probably the most exciting part of this is that there are some big names,
yeah, and I think it'll be a
guys
cool
that are
course to watch.
yeah, it's a new course and a big field. So I think that people are maybe looking for a bit of a tune up here, heading into the PGA Championship. But you know, um, yeah, like I said, I'm gonna have Berger on my top 20 betting card. I even though look, don't hopefully the EV people don't come after me, but I'd parlay even Xander and Berger. You could throw them together for a top 20 parlay. Get about plus 230 there. So I like that. Uh, you know how I feel with Xander. If you like anybody for top 20, just
Put him with Xander.
throw Xander in there. Yeah, just like to put him in there. He's going to be in the mix. He's going to be, you already know where I'm going to be with him on next week as well. So I think he's put a lot of the injury concerns potentially to bed, and he's been playing really well recently. But yeah, I guess again I'll run through that quick lineup. I don't know if you could probably just text me later if you find yourself in a DFS card. But
Okay.
I got
Will do.
Xander, Lowry, Henley, Harris English, Daniel Berger, and
And Noren?
Alex Noren. Yeah, yeah. Which
I quite like it. I mean, Harris English is the one. Well, he's the first name. I opened the model. He's the first name I saw. Maybe that's a sign. Maybe we don't even talk about it. I think you let it rip.
and he's
I
a
think you
pretty
let that rip.
cheap option.
Yep.
I mean, looking at
And he's
guys
had
in
some
that
top 20s.
same
He's making cuts. I mean, he's only missed one cut this year. So, let it rip.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good lineup.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. But yeah, yeah. Thanks again, Green, for running through the course with us. Thanks, everybody who checked us out this week. Obviously, next week be a lot more excitement, a lot more hype, I think. But yeah, hey, look, we still get golf. We still get Scottyless golf, which with the despite no Scotty, a very, very loaded field, nonetheless. So, a unique thing, a new course. Um, anything, that you wanted to close with?
I got nothing. I like the Texas Rangers today against the Boston Red Sox. How about that?
There
It's
we
my
go.
one non-home run play of the day. So plus money. I think it should be flipped. I think they should be the favorite. They are not. So um, that's all I got for anything closing wise.
Alright, well, yeah, thanks. We'll see you guys next week. Go Pacers.